White Sox rookie Munetaka Murakami with 5 homers in his last 12 games, a Rookie of the Year candidate for the first place team out of Chicago. You'll see him hosting Cleveland. One of the games on display here on Baseball Night in America.
The trade deadline has come and gone, which means the push to October is officially on.
Tarek Skubal, back-to-back Cy Youngs, but now he's going to join the back-to-back defending champs.
Welcome to the Bronx, Luis!
Tonight, the spotlight shines on the AL Central, where 2 contenders meet. The Southsiders have turned heads all season long and have bolstered their roster, determined to prove they're the real deal.
Murakami now lifts this in the air. At the wall, back to back we go!
But the Guardians have made some moves of their own to try and keep pace in this tight division race.
Drive to deep center. We're out of here!
Meanwhile, the Rangers look to stay in the hunt for the AL West crown as they host Pete Alonso and the Orioles.
Alonso drives us deep, and that baby is gone!
Baseball Night in America starts now.
Jacob deGrom on the mound for the Rangers as they take on the Orioles. Texas going for their 4th straight win, just a game and a half out of the lead in the AL West. And the Tigers 3.5 off the division lead in the Central, 2 out of the wild card. Their Rookie of the Year candidate, Kevin McGonigal, loosening up as the Tigers will take on the Giants. All part of Baseball Night in America. And Fox Baseball Night in America, sponsored by Geico. Welcome inside our studios live here in Los Angeles with our World Series champ Don Provost. Chris Myers, thanks for being with us. We'll get to that tightest race in all of baseball, the Central of that showdown, Cleveland and the White Sox. But let's check on some other games going on right now. And the Phillies and the Blue Jays. Vladimir Guerrero in the opening inning facing Aaron Nola.
Yeah, when that toe tap get quiet, we have liftoff.
Only his 7th home run of the year, but enough to give Toronto the lead 2-0 as they play in the 3rd. This was a good pitching matchup. Braves-Yankees at the start. 5th inning, it's a 2-1 game. Cole in trouble here, 2 on 2 out, but he gets Matt Olson. 1,000th strikeout as a Yankee for Cole.
Yeah, this is a nice little battle with aces on the mound, and all of a sudden,
Sale called for a balk here.
yeah.
And he argued, and his manager, Walt Weiss, didn't like it either. He's thrown out.
It looked a little funky to me, General, as far as where he held his hands at, and then you hear a little toe tap, and so huge run and really momentum shifter.
Well, Weiss lost all of his hair.
Me too.
Arguing. George Lombard Jr., what a story. 2nd home run in just 4 games. The rookie delivers. The Yankees hang on at the end, 5-4. Red Sox A's, 6th inning here. 9-game win streak on the line. Gage jumped trying to get out of trouble. He gets Duran, and then Connor Wong had 11 strikeouts.
Yeah, he was touching 99 from the left side. Excellent breaking ball to pair with that fastball.
Tyler Soderstrom off this pitch for his 19th home run of the year. A 6-2 A's lead, but here come the Red Sox. 2 on, 2 out in the 8th. Harris strikes out Durant, swinging 0 for 4. It just went final. Boston trying to rally, but 7-3, they could not, even though they've been on an amazing run. And the A's end their losing skid of 9 games. So these are the current standings. A little bit of a surprise that the Dodgers, who've lost 7 in a row, would not be one of the first 2 seeds. And in the AL, a bit of a surprise that the Rays and White Sox are your top 2 seeds. And speaking of the Central, look at how tight. 3.5 teams for that division lead, or 3.5 games separate 4 teams, and they're going to be facing each other quite a bit over the final 47, 48 games of the season. Let's welcome in our MLB insider, Ken Rosenthal, joining us live from Chicago. And Ken, it's always good to see you. White Sox landed Luis Castillo at the deadline. Guardians made some moves of their own to try and stay in the race and keep up pace. They're just 2 back, as we saw. How would you grade the deadline for these 2 teams and what they did?
Chris, both teams did well. The White Sox are in first place, but they're still building. They were intent on keeping their top prospects, so they made a series of moves that didn't necessarily raise their ceiling, but did raise their floor. You mentioned the big one, Luis Castillo. He's a guy who's a starting pitcher who should give them innings, which is big for the White Sox because they're last in the majors in innings out of their rotation. The Guardians, too, were protective of their young talent, but they were more aggressive than usual, seeing an opportunity. Wide open AL Central, wide open American League. They landed one of the top rental starting pitchers, Foster Griffin, and two veteran hitters, Joe Adell and Nathaniel Lowe. Their team is so young. Manager Stephen Vogt said that Adell and Lowe and the experience they're providing are already making a difference. Chris?
All right, young players doing well. Thank you, Ken. We'll see you on the broadcast coming up. White Sox, by the way, too, the third youngest lineup in baseball currently. As we mentioned, Cleveland tied for second in the Central, but in the previous 10 seasons, they won 6 division titles, 7 playoff appearances. Same span, White Sox under 7 different managers, won the division just once, failed to finish above 500 8 times. 2026, a little bit of a different feel for the first place White Sox from the South Side. It's interesting how the last 3 years they lost 100 games or more. And what separates this young team?
You know, it's more of a well-balanced attack. This on the speed department, you look at Acuna and Antonacci, they're able to run the bases. But if you look at the teeth of this lineup, Montgomery has 25 home runs, Murakami has 25 home runs. They're going to be 30 home runs plus. Also, you have Miguel Vargas, who is an all-star in that lineup. So you have a bunch of guys that will go out and force the opposition to play clean baseball. And they got everybody rocking and rolling and believing down there in that South Side. And it's been a long time, General, with that type of energy and that type of belief. Murakami is that one threat in the Central that's been consistent. Now, the only time he hasn't been consistent is when he's been injured. But every time he's in that lineup, he can win the ball game by himself. There is no other bat in that lineup, in that division, besides Jose Ramirez that can win ball games by themselves. And so they got a centerpiece, and they're going to plan to build around him. This clock was sped up with this organization. They felt like next year was going to be the year that they were going to build and have a chance of going to postseason. Well, they feel like they're going to postseason right now, but it's going to be a fun race in the AL Central.
It's always good to show up early, and we can't leave the Twins out of this
Not
race.
at all.
You saw
Not
that
at
with
all.
the Tigers.
Every time we go up against the Guardians, something happens and they win the division, but I think it's the White Sox year.
But what a turnaround for the White Sox. They have been outstanding. Among the games you'll see, mentioned the Tigers in San Francisco, the O's in Texas as well. And Jackson Jobe, the former 3rd overall pick back in 2020 when making his return to the majors following Tommy John surgery. And talk about the White Sox, it was my pleasure to cover that team on Fox in the World Series when they won it. Ozzie Guillen, the great manager there, had his jersey retired in Chicago today. I always think highly of how candid he was on Baseball Night in America.
MLB.
We welcome you to Baseball Night in America on Fox on a 97-degree evening in Arlington, Texas. It's the second of a 3-game series, the Orioles and the Rangers. Pete Alonso and the Orioles lost the series opener last night 2-1 to Corey Seager. And the Rangers, Texas, a game and a half out of the American League West, tied for the 3rd wild card spot. The Orioles just 2 games out in the American League wild card race. Welcome to Baseball Night in America. Kenny Albert along with Hall of Famer John Smoltz. And for the Texas Rangers tonight, they look to win their 4th consecutive game. And their ace, Jacob deGrom, takes the mound for the first time since he reportedly rejected a trade to the Atlanta Braves just prior to the deadline.
Well, I'm sure that's what the team did not want to hear. What, are ace pitchers in trade talks? Well, he squashed it. He said, I'm here to stay. I want to win, and I think this team can win. So for Jacob deGrom, his career speaks for itself. When healthy, one of the nastiest pitchers in all of baseball. And now he's going to have a chance to prove what he can do and how he can carry a team into the playoffs with the last 50 games.
On the other side, the Baltimore Orioles did make a big deal, sending catcher Adley Rutschman to the Boston Red Sox, but as you saw, the Orioles still alive, 2 games out in the wild card.
Yeah, and their manager's telling them, keep your chin up. You know, the trade deadline came and went. It looked like they didn't believe in the team by the moves they didn't make and the moves they did make, but 2 games back, and they're playing much better since July 1st. Their stars have to be a little bit better. They got to do a lot of things right to pass some teams, but they're in it. And this team thinks they have what it takes in a wide open American League.
Orioles looking for revenge following the loss last night here in Arlington. It's the Rangers and the Orioles next. Baseball night in America on Fox.
School.
Welcome back to Globe Life Field in Arlington. Kenny Albert, Hall of Famer John Smoltz. Second of a 3-game weekend series. Starting lineup sponsored by Dick's Sporting Goods. Orioles come in with a record of 56-60. Gunnar Henderson leads off. Then Pete Alonso, Jackson Holliday bats third. Tyler O'Neill in the cleanup spot. Then Beavers, Tavares, and Carcion, Strand, Cowser, and Narvaez as the Orioles get set to face the 2-time Cy Young Award winner, making his 22nd start this season with a record of 7-7, Jacob deGrom.
Yeah, Jacob deGrom, he's arm side fastball. He stays out of the middle of the plate, and he's got a great slider, curveball, and change. But for deGrom, when he puts pressure on the hitters, it's because his fastball command has been great. The last couple starts have not. And for an Oriole team that they swing and miss a lot, despite their hard contact, if he gets the 2 strikes tonight, it'll be a high strikeout total for deGrom.
Facing Gunnar Henderson, leading off for Baltimore. And Henderson takes strike 1, just 2 for 11 lifetime against deGrom, who has had great success against the Orioles. A career record of 5-0 in 6 starts. Earned run average under 2. Henderson fouls it back to the screen. 0-2. With Henderson leading off for the Orioles, he'll be followed by Alonso, then Holliday.
Well, both these offenses could use a boost. They have not delivered on the year, mainly because their starters, some of their stars, have not been in gear, and this is one of them. He's got to get going for the Orioles.
Batting just .217.
Thank you.
Count now 1-2. Orioles in the month of August in 6 games averaging under 2 runs per game. Scored just 1 last night.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did. Yes.
Henderson down on strikes, 1 away.
Well, that's that killer slider, and it is really, really good. And it gets better when you command the fastball. And early on, that's going to be the key, as I talked about. And you got to recognize that as a hitter. You just don't see it in time. He goes down in the back foot, can't hold it up.
So now Pete Alonso steps in, facing his former teammate. 4 seasons together with the New York Mets, Alonso and deGrom. Alonso leading the Orioles in home runs and runs batted in. 0 for 4 in last night's game. To Alonso, now 1-2.
That's the pitch right there. Pitching off the first base side of the rubber, that fastball command out there is really, really good. If he doesn't pull the fastball, this is unhittable. Now he can throw his slider off of that. Now the slider loses a little bit of the angle from the first base side of the rubber, but you get the feeling that the hitters have to protect against it.
1-2 from deGrom. Alonso fouls it back.
At 98, that's one of the first times you'll see him miss. He will not miss arm side middle of the plate too often because he has such good extension and late life to his fastball. It's what makes him so tough.
2-2.
But the angle I'm talking about, when you have a really good slider, and he's a unique pitcher that pitches off the first base side of the rubber, if you're on the third base side of the rubber, you have a better angle against the right-handers to throw that slider. So he has less room for error on the first base side where he's got to start the slider.
Alonso down on strikes. 2 up, 2 down, 2 strikeouts for Jacob deGrom.
All of it's going to be, again, because the hitter doesn't want to be beat with 99-mile-an-hour fastball. He sees that as a fastball coming out of the hand. It's too late. Body goes forward. And that's what makes deGrom so special. And that's what made the Orioles tough this year. Yes, they hit the ball hard, but they swing and miss a lot.
With 2 away, Jackson Holliday takes a called strike. Holliday no hits in his last 18 at bats. 0 for 5 lifetime against deGrom.
Talking to the Baltimore Orioles manager, and he said that the league average of fastball is way down, but they are off speeding us to death.
There's Craig Albernas, first-year skipper in Baltimore. Holliday drills this one deep right field. It is gone. Jackson Holliday breaking out of an 0 for 18 slump with his 6th home run of the season, his first career hit off deGrom, and the Orioles take a 1-0 first-inning lead.
Well, it looked like the man was sitting on fastball after a couple sliders. And I talked about not missing in the middle too often. He tries to elevate this fastball, and it's right down the middle. Here comes one of those first-inning challenges that I will never understand. I just will never understand in a non-leverage situation, first pitch.
Baltimore has 2 challenges remaining.
Even if you get it right.
Now the 1-0 to O'Neill, missing away ball 2. So after deGrom struck out Henderson and Alonso to start this game, he was taken deep by the 22-year-old Holliday. Now 2-1. O'Neill has struck out in both career plate appearances against Jacob deGrom. deGrom falling behind here, 3-1. Full count.
It's just one of the prettiest fastballs to watch when he's down. He's going to go inside on these hitters and lock them up. When he gets them thinking away, this could be a 3-2 slider as well. It's not given that he's going to throw a fastball.
Payoff pitch to O'Neill. deGrom missing away, ball 4. So the Orioles have a 2-out base runner. So that early challenge by O'Neill pays off for the Orioles.
Well, it did. But first pitch made it 1-0 instead of 0-1. But the philosophy for most teams should be, if you're going to be aggressive early, be aggressive early and get it right, because we got to save one late in the latter part of the game. When you get out of challenges in the last part of the game, you're just wasting the opportunities that have been provided.
O'Neill did not swing the bat. Through a walk, and now deGrom missing low and inside to Beavers, 1-1.
The front side of every pitcher, the shoulder, the non-throwing shoulder, is his guiding point. And when that front side shoulder goes to first base too quick, he pulls the fastball and the command is off.
22nd pitch of the inning from deGrom.
and when he stays quiet. Breaking pitches tend to keep your front shoulder more quiet. The fastball is the one that wants to get out and get too open or too quick to home plate. And that's the key for DeGrom, and it's the key for really every pitcher.
2-1, and Beaver sends this one deep left center on the warning track. The catch is made by Langford to end the inning, but the Orioles strike first. A 2-out solo shot off the bat of Jackson Holliday here in Arlington, Texas. 1-0 Baltimore.
Stacked spicy steak. For just $7.99 each? Let's Asiago! Asiago bagel stacks at Panera.
Texas Rangers trailing 1-0. 500 record, 58-58. Peterson leads off, then Langford, Seager, Nimmo on the cleanup spot. Duran, Carter, Berger, Wins, and Lopez. As the Rangers face the 29-year-old right-hander, record of 7-10 this season in 22 starts, Kyle Bradish.
Well, this guy's going to have a breakout year, and he's got the kind of stuff to do it. The numbers don't quite add up, and the biggest part of his game, he's got to throw more strikes early. If he throws strikes early, he's going to have them eaten out of his hand. He's got 4 dynamic pitches, and pitching to contact's not the worst thing in the world for Kyle.
Strike one to Jock Peterson, who had the big blow for Texas in last night's 2-1 win. 2-run shot in the 6th inning to put the Rangers ahead. Leads Texas with 21 home runs. And we take you back to the 6th inning in last night's game. Off Shane Baz, who went the distance for the Orioles. But taken deep by Peterson in the 6th. First career complete game for Baz in the losing effort.
The breaking ball has tremendous tilt. It's top to bottom. He'll throw a lot in the dirt, and he'll try to get hitters to chase that pitch. He can throw this fastball. The 4-seam cuts, the 2-seam, good movement away from left-handed hitters.
0-2 from Bradish, and Peterson down on strikes. Bradish has been terrific in first innings this season. Has allowed only 2 runs in the first inning in 22 starts.
Talk about in this day and age with the way that hitters hit their launch angle, you want a 2-seamer and a 4-seamer. 2 to go below the barrel, 1 to go above the barrel. He definitely has 2 different fastballs that he utilizes in the game.
One away, here's Wyatt Langford. Langford and Corey Seager, who is on deck, they both missed a lot of time this season, and Rangers certainly seem like a different team offensively and stylistically with both players in the lineup.
They have really struggled, especially with runners on. Biggest thing is they get a lot of runners on, but they just have not delivered at the rate they should. And injuries are a part of everything. You have to be able to put the ball in play at the right time, move runners over, and they're starting to do some of that better.
Langford, the team most valuable player last season. Seager on deck. Orioles out to a 1-0 lead.
This should be a high fastball. He has really struggled with velocity, and especially velocity up. You got him to chase a breaking ball. See if he climbs the ladder with a fastball up in the zone.
1-2 from Bradish, and Langford got a piece of it.
He went right back to the breaking ball, which again, he has a lot of confidence in that, but that would have been a great time to change the eye level of Wyatt.
One-two from Bradish, and Langford hit by the pitch. Pitch to first.
was a gift, and the gift he knows on the mound that he gave one away. He had the hitter completely done, and he tries to front door, I think, this sinker. It just gets in away from him, and Langford doesn't want to get hit to get on base, but based on the way that he was set up, he'll take it.
So with Langford on at first, Corey Seager steps in. Seager playing in his 58th game. He's missed half the season.
That's the pitch that surprises me, because he normally handles fastballs, and he has been really, really bad on fastballs and a lot of swing and misses. So he's out of sync. The injuries, the time missed, all has got him in a little bit of a funk.
Seager, the two-time World Series most valuable player. Back in at first. Langford attempting to get back in time. Double play, and that will end the inning. So Seager lines out, and the Orioles turn 2. We head to the second here in Arlington. 1-0 Baltimore.
This is Zach.
Tonight's telecast is sponsored by Progressive Insurance. A grand slam for your budget. John, these teams met in the postseason back in 2023, the American League Division Series. It was a 3-game sweep. Rangers went on to win the World Series.
One of the most improbable runs I've ever seen in my life of baseball, and Texas did it without losing a road game. They did it with a stick-to-itiveness, and really got ticked off after Seattle when they didn't win the one game to give them home field. They had to fly all the way across the coast, and they went on an incredible journey.
A perfect 11-4-11 on the road. Won only 2 games at home.
He's just never going to see it again. I said that the last time we saw a 7-game series where no team won the home game. Well, it happened again between the Rangers and the Astros. You know, these teams are sitting in a place where they go, okay, we got a shot, but we're going to have to do some things better. They know what they're weak at. They know what they're good at. And the fact that neither team really kind of went for it at the trade deadline probably gives you that little set in your stomach where you go, oh, man, they don't believe in us. Well, there's still a team, and there's still a chance, and the Rangers are currently in that position right now.
Tavares, the former Texas Ranger, at the plate. Had 2 hits in last night's game. Member of the Rangers World Series championship squad 3 seasons ago. Payoff pitch from DeGrom. That is strikeout number 3.
And that is knowing the player. As many pitches that this team sees, and they see a lot of pitches per at-bats, and they get their walks, but with 2 strikes is their Achilles heel. So if you think a guy's going to be aggressive, you make a pitch look like it might be a strike and get it out of the strike zone for a swing and a miss.
Here's Encarnacion Strand, came over from the Cincinnati Reds organization back in early April. Got off to a hot start with the Orioles. This is 16th game with Baltimore. Jacob DeGrom, John, now 11 strikeouts shy of 2,000.
He's a strikeout machine, especially when he is healthy. He is and can dominate a game by himself. And it's that right there. Anytime he wanted. When he came into the league, he could do that anytime he wanted. It was a gift. I'm sorry, he could do anytime he wanted on the inside part of the plate. He had such great arm side command, but where he has gone to the elite level is now he has glove side command. Now he can get the ball away to the right-handed hitters, but getting it in was so easy for him in his beginning of his career.
Strikeout number 4 tonight, now 10 shy of 2,000, and coming into this game, over his first 270 major league appearances, only Randy Johnson with more strikeouts than DeGrom over a pitcher's first 270 games.
Yeah, well, he's my favorite pitcher to watch when he broke into the league, and obviously he's had some injury issues after his great start with the New York Mets, and then signed the big contract with the Rangers. But you're seeing what he can do. 270 games. Normally that would mean he'd be much younger, but he's missed so much time. He's actually a little bit older of a pitcher, but not as much abuse on his arm as far as innings go.
Over the 2023 and 24 seasons, started only 9 games combined. Underwent Tommy John surgery. Was the American League Comeback Player of the Year last season. 12-8 and 30 starts for the Rangers.
And I would say this year has probably not been one of his best years just from a command standpoint. Some home runs, some tough luck. Give or take 6 more starts for the rest of the season. If the Rangers are going to do anything and get to that postseason, they got to win 5 of the 6 games that he pitches.
Two-two to Cowser. And as we alluded to in our opening segment, he reportedly turned down a trade to Atlanta. He said, I feel like I've underperformed. I think we can do something cool. I want to stay and help this team win. DeGrom strikes out the side. Tavares, Encarnacion, Strand, and Cowser in the second inning. Bottom of the second inning at Arlington, Texas, on baseball night in America. Orioles with a 1-0 lead over the Rangers. Brandon Nimmo leading off for Texas. Nimmo facing Bradish for the first time in his career. Batting .274 on the season.
He's had a nice year for kind of a bounce back. Crushing the first pitches, but the first pitch came and went. Where he struggles is the ball down. That's where a lot of fastball strikeouts are going to be, is down in that area. But he hits it hard when he hits it.
10 seasons with the New York Mets.
And a lot of Mets fans, 2 players in this park, are part of the reasons they feel like this year has not gone the way it should. He didn't bring back Nimmo, didn't bring back Alonso, brought some guys historically that weren't staying on the field. There's that strikeout with the fastball, and you know what you're getting with those 2 players. They were always going to be on the field, hard playing, hard-nosed baseball players. That fastball catches a 2-seam movement.
Second strikeout for Bradish tonight. With 1 away, here's Ezekiel Durant. On bat as of late, 7 hits in his last 14 at bats. Durant takes a called strike, 0-1. 13 home runs on the season for Durant. That's 1 shy of his career high set back in 2023. Foul off to the right side.
Well, with 2 strikes, this is where Kyle can get outside the strike zone because Duran has commanded the strike zone. He's done a nice job. Any pitch really in any quadrant in the strike zone with the exception of down and away, and I call it the 7 zone, which is going to be to the catcher's right shin guard, is where his hole is. Right there is a great pitch.
Charging Encarnacion, Strand, no throw. 1 out base runner for the Rangers.
Great pitch, bad result if you're Kyle Bradish. He made the pitch and a check swing. You wonder why they ask if the hitter goes or not. Here's a perfect example. Did he go? Yes, he got the ball in play. One of those infield hits.
First hit of the game for Texas. They had only 3 in the win last night. First pitch to Evan Carter in for a called strike, 0-1. Carter 0 for his last 14. Batting average under 200. Duran takes his lead off first, 1 out. Bottom of the 2nd inning at Arlington. 1-1. Bradish facing Texas for the 4th time in his career. He has not been involved in a decision, but the Orioles have won all 3 games.
Well, with 2 strikes again, Bradish, the ability to put hitters away. Carter, who's got an electric bat but struggled this year, has really struggled with breaking balls inside.
The 1-2 from Bradish. Now 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Just missed with that 2-seam fastball that he tried the front door, meaning you throw it off the plate inside and catch the strike for a called strike, but he threw it away.
Throw gets away from Alonso. Duran around second, heading for third. And he is in standing.
Well, that throw got Alonso to reach across the sliding runner and didn't get far enough to get to it. The speed easily gets Duran to third base, and now Bradish really's got to think about the strikeout ball, right? 2-2 count, something breaking that'll give him a swing over the top.
Error charge to Bradish. Ball 3 to Carter. Count is full. Duran takes his lead off third. Berger on deck. Infield in. And time is called. The home plate umpire, James Hoyt.
That was late. Now he got to show his pitch, and this is always the million-dollar question, right? With the time called, he went ahead and threw the pitch, and it was a fastball. Now what? Do you go back to it? The hitter saw what it was. I personally would go to the breaking ball down towards the back foot. It doesn't look like they are.
With the infield in, throw to the plate. Safe. The Rangers tie the game at 1.
Well, Henderson couldn't see the break. As soon as he hit the ball, Duran took off, got a great break. It was going to take a perfect throw to the third base side of the home plate. Tremendous base running, and even though the infield was in, Duran is the reason why they scored. Instincts are the difference between bang-bang plays at just about every base. And the instincts there for Duran were great.
First pitch to Berger, missing low and away, ball one.
It's interesting, last year's World Series was determined by the lack of instincts, where the Dodgers had all that plays that Meehan made, and the Blue Jays were a half-inch away at home plate from crowning a championship. But that conservative approach and getting doubled off the night before really cost them. And that's the beauty of baseball, that still can be played in a matter of inches.
So close. Now 1-2 on Berger, who leads the Rangers with 66 runs batted in this season. Carter, the runner on first, still only one out. One run in for Texas here in the bottom of the second inning.
Anything breaking away right now would give him fits. You have virtually no chance if he executes. And he did not.
Throw to second. Not in time, and Carter is now in scoring position.
You know, the art of pitching, when you get 2 strikes, it doesn't have to be a perfect pitch, but the last couple breaking balls have been the 50-foot version, and this one led to moving the runner up. So 2 self-inflicted plays by Bradish, really. The throw to first, and that throw in the dirt has moved up runners without the ball leaving the infield.
Two from Bradish. Down is full. So Bradish committing the throwing error earlier in the inning. Now the wild pitch. Allowing the base runners to move up. Bradish tried to barehand it. Henderson charging, can't make the play. Throw to the plate. Out of the glove of the Orioles capture Narvaez, and the Rangers now lead 2-1.
I mean, this video you're going to want to destroy for this inning, because he was out at home plate. Any good throw at all. But the aggressive style here, and a team that has not scored a lot of runs, you understand the barehand play, but then he notices he's going, and he throws it at home, and it's wide so that the catcher has to try to catch and swipe. This has been not the inning the Baltimore Orioles are going to look back and go, that was one of their not finer moments. I mean, we're such in a world of exit velocity, right? Well, I can guarantee you these 2 runs have not scored on any kind of exit velocity, that's for sure. But that's what happens when you put it in play and runner on third, and you put pressure on the defense. Things like this can translate into runs.
Comedy of errors here in the bottom of the second inning. Berger with an infield single, no run batted in. Run scores on the error charge to Henderson. Boston wins, squares. Still no balls out of the infield, and the Rangers have scored twice.
Yeah, I just can't tell you as a former pitcher how incredibly difficult that is. And look, part of the reason why some of these pitchers early on in the season were chasing so much strikeout is that stat we just showed you. The defense, not great for the Baltimore Orioles.
Wins the former Oriole with a base hit into center field, moving Berger to second.
When you're chasing teams and you're trying to climb the standings in the playoffs, this is the team before you that you know you got to beat. Last night had to be tough. Get the runner thrown out, the tying run in 9th inning last night. And now you get a home run from Holiday, and you gift the Rangers 2 runs.
So with 2 on, only 1 out. Here's the number 9 hitter, Lopez.
Lopez, not known for his power, does not have any launch angle, no swing up at all. As a matter of fact, he has the lowest launch angle in all of baseball. So he's going to bunt. He's going to do the little things. He's going to play winning baseball without trying to launch the baseball at home plate.
Started the season with the Cubs, playing on his 6th major league team. Two runs for Texas here in the bottom of the 2nd inning. The Orioles have committed 2 errors. And a wild pitch contributed as well. One ball, 2 strike count. Jock Peterson waiting on deck.
Yeah, that pitch has cost him right now. As good as that breaking ball is, it has not delivered in this inning anywhere close to entice the hitter to swing. And it's built up the pitch count as well to hitters because he's not had that put away pitch.
Bradish has thrown 25 pitches here in the 2nd inning. Here's Henderson. Steps on the bag, fires across, and that will do it for the Rangers here in the 2nd as the Orioles turn 2, but Texas scores 2. We head to the 3rd at Arlington. Back to Baseball Night in America. Kenny Albert, Hall of Famer John Smoltz. Texas Rangers lead the Baltimore Orioles 2-1 as Carlos Narvaez steps to the plate for the O's. We are joined live from the Orioles dugout by Shane Baz, coming off a terrific performance here last night. First career complete game. Shane, thanks for taking a couple of minutes. My partner John Smoltz knows the feeling. Back in 1989, he pitched a complete game, 3-hitter, but did not earn the victory.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys. Kenny, Smoltzy. Hope you guys are well. But yeah, you know, it's not the cool one, but you know, I think it's a good sign. But yeah, you know, it's always tough when you can't come out with the win.
One of the things that both you guys share, and well, unfortunately too many guys share, Tommy John, and coming back from injury and getting healthy again. What's the biggest thing you've learned missing that time and now getting a chance to go out there and do what you love?
Yeah, I mean, I think you have a whole new kind of gratitude for it. You know, you're a lot more, you don't take stuff for granted as much. You know, I felt like when I was 20, 21 years old, I was straight rolling out of bed, and it was 97, 98. And, you know, just, I think now I'm a lot smarter with just kind of how I get my body ready on game day, and you know, being smarter with the stuff I'm doing in between. You know, I think just being a little more precise with some of my stuff has helped me a lot of just staying healthy and being able to eat innings.
And Shane, how about the acclimation to Baltimore as you play some defense here? How have you enjoyed the time in Baltimore and playing with the Orioles organization?
I mean, it's been great. You know, we got a great clubhouse. Albernez has been, I mean, you'd never think it's his first year managing. Obviously, he's been around the game a long time and been on big league coaching staffs and stuff like that. So he's been amazing. You know, the pitching staff here has been awesome. I really can't complain. You know, it's I think it's just a good fit for me and my family and stuff, and it's been really good.
Narvaez down on strikes. Big trade, obviously, earlier this week with Rutschman heading to the Red Sox organization. What was some of the talk in the clubhouse amongst the players? You guys are still in it, 2 games out of the wild card race.
Yeah, we're in it. That's been kind of the main theme of stuff of, like, you know, I think being in Tampa it was a lot of turnover every year of just roster, and you know, it was always kind of the reload situation, and you know, so I think I'm a little more used to it. You know, we got a lot of young guys in the clubhouse that, you know, it's their first couple years in the big leagues, so, you know, it's kind of just part of it, and, you know, we're in it, and we got, you know, 40-something, 50 games to go, and it's just kind of, let's see what we can do here.
One away with Gunnar Henderson at the plate. Shane, do you have any questions for my partner?
Yeah, I mean, gosh, I should have hit you up for tea time today. But,
well, that I can help you with.
Yeah, no, I've only gotten to play golf a couple times in Baltimore, but you know, if you have any connects, send them my way, and let me get a contact or something. But no, I want to know what it was like going to the bullpen for the first time after being a starter your whole career.
Yeah, it was the craziest journey of my life. The hardest thing I've ever done. Luckily, I had 14 years of starting, so I never wasn't like I was going to forget how to pitch. But my routine was all upset. My eating habits and everything that I wanted to do and enjoy.
Yeah.
It didn't prevent me from playing golf. That's the beauty of it.
Yeah, that's nice. You know. Oh, that's right on me. Oh no, it's foul.
But the biggest thing that I learned, and I had the kind of, I guess, the luxury of guys didn't want to get to 2 strikes, so out of the closer's role, I could get it a lot of quick outs, and I didn't focus on trying to, you know, strike everybody out or waste a lot of pitches, and I think that helped me get in a lot more games and be able to be ready more often.
Be a little more efficient.
Yeah, but it was definitely the one difference of today's, you know, where you guys have and you're chasing a different reward system, is the one thing for us is that longevity as a starter, going deeper, so you didn't throw and empty the tank. So as a closer, I could throw harder, but as a starter, I didn't want to throw at that velocity.
Yeah. But no, I was a big fan. I've kind of gotten into some sports cards here, so I'll have to find some of yours and add them to the collection. I'm going just vintage pitchers right now, so you're definitely on that list.
I appreciate it.
Who are some of the other favorites on that list, Shane?
Right now, I'm like, I've got some Nolan Ryan. That's kind of an easy one.
Well, I know you grew up in the Houston area, so
yeah. So he was, you know, it was a lot of growing up. It was a lot of him. It was a lot of, you know, Clemens, Oswalt, Pettit, you know, guys like that growing up. But I've got some good Nolan Ryan stuff. I've got some couple Pedro cards, Randy Johnson. Let's see, I got some Clemens. Yeah, I'll have to put some Smoltz in there. Put some Smoltz in my good card case.
Alonso up the middle, backhanded by Lopez. And that will do it for the Orioles. Shane, great job. Thanks for joining us. Excellent question to the Hall of Famer. You might have a future in this business.
Appreciate it.
You got it.
Thank you all.
Top of the order for the Texas Rangers here in the bottom of the 3rd. They lead the Orioles 2-1. Kenny Albert with Hall of Famer John Smoltz. Baseball Night in America. Jock Peterson steps to the plate. And Peterson sends this one into left. Beavers is under it. 1 pitch, 1 away. So after we chatted with Shane Baz during the last half inning, we are now joined by Rangers Nathan Eovaldi. Nate, thanks for taking a couple of minutes. 10 wins on the season to lead Texas. A look at your numbers last night with Jacob deGrom on the mound and doing his thing today with 6 strikeouts over the first 3 innings. What kind of a message did it send to you guys as his teammates that this is where he wants to be?
No, I mean, it means a lot to us, especially with where we are at the season. You know, obviously there's some other teams out there that were wanting him, but for him to want to stay here with us, that means the world to us.
The biggest thing that I thought for your Texas Ranger team, and unfortunately it's league-wide, injuries. I thought your pitching staff had a chance to be dynamic if you stayed healthy. Some of the guys getting close to coming back?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, Cody Bradford made his first start after, close to 2 years being out. Montgomery's active now in the bullpen, which is going to be a big help for us down out there. I'm not sure how far along Josh Young is, but we got some other guys that are close to coming back, and I think it's just the dynamic of the team, like you said. I mean, once we get going, we can be really good.
And you certainly know what it takes. You've been a part of 2 World Series championship clubs, including here in 2023. As Langford flies out to Tavares and right. You have Langford back, you have Seager back. They both missed a lot of time. How good can this team be? How far can you guys go with a healthy squad?
Yeah, I mean, once we get, like you said, we haven't had those 2 guys in a long time, and having Seager back, getting him out there and having the consecutive at-bats, I mean, you add him to any part of the lineup, and I mean, it changes the whole dynamic of what we've got going. And then I think also, too, it's like if you get, DeGrom, me, and Gore going on the mound, going a little deeper into the games, I think we can also help carry the team along the way.
Lastly, for me, I mean, you have been stalwart in the league. What have you learned as each year passes and you get a chance to go on the mound deeper and deeper? What have you learned about later in life being a pitcher?
I mean, that's kind of a tough one. I feel like as of recently, you're not always going to feel your best, but you're going to go out there and, find a way to go out there and compete and try to go as deep as you can. I felt like last night I didn't have my best stuff velocity-wise, but going out there, making sure that I'm changing the way I pitch, trying to keep them off balance, read the swings, try to get quick outs when you can, try to prevent those long gettings. I feel like, just from my previous start against the Astros, I was out there nibbling a little too much and really not attacking as well as I should have. And last night I was just trying to challenge the guys with, all of my pitches and fill up the zone and try to get some quick outs.
Speaking of quick outs, a quick bottom of the 3rd. Nate, thanks for joining us.
Yeah, of course. Thanks for having me, guys.
An 8-pitch bottom of the 3rd for Kyle Bradish. Jacob deGrom with 6 strikeouts over the first 3 innings, facing the man who took him deep back in the first, and that was Jackson Holliday. His 6th home run of the season gave Baltimore a 1-0 lead. Rangers came back with 2 runs in the bottom of the 2nd inning, and that is where we stand.
Texas is challenging. Texas has 2 challenges remaining.
It's so amazing when it touches the top of the ball, both on the bottom of the zone or the top of the zone. And look, I mean, catchers are going to have the best chance of knowing this stuff. The hitter be the 2nd best. Pitcher, never, ever let him challenge a pitch. Saw one the other night for the Baltimore Orioles, and it was nowhere close.
What do you think your philosophy would have been when you were on the mound with regard to challenges, whether catcher,
I would have
batter, yourself on the mound?
Yeah, I would have been real good with my catcher, saying he knows the style and where I want to get those strikes, but he would be I'd have full confidence in him and having the reins.
2-2 from deGrom.
Tell you what, for a young hitter, that's a great pitch to lay off of. And if for deGrom, you're like, there's no way you can lay off of that again.
Payoff pitch to Holliday, and this time it's deGrom who wins the battle, his 7th strikeout tonight.
Well, deGrom was right. There's no way you can lay off of it twice in a row. He went back to it, but for deGrom, he has made a living on being able to get guys to chase low. He's made one mistake. That mistake up in the middle was the home run, but he has absolutely been great down in the zone with that tight slider. The one thing that deGrom over his years, he's been able to shape his slider in different ways. I mentioned how he throws it from the first base side of the rubber, so he loses a portion of that angle because he's got to start the ball on the outer part of the plate, make it look like a strike, and then obviously dive away. But when he gets 2 strikes on you, you are at such a disadvantage. And he'll put you away.
Facing O'Neill, who walked back in the first inning. And that puts an end to the streak. DeGrom had retired 8 consecutive Orioles.
Now the curse for DeGrom, because he strikes so many hitters out, he gets a lot of foul balls. So he throws a lot of pitches and doesn't go deep into the game, deep enough as his pitch count would allow him. And so a lot of his work gets done early. You saw the big bulk of strikeouts thus far going into the 4th inning. Well, that adds up a lot of pitches. And for the Rangers, they're going to need Jacob DeGrom to eat up a lot of innings in the remainder of this season for them to punch a ticket.
Here's Beavers with 1 out, and O'Neill the runner on first. The 1-0 from DeGrom, in for a called strike, now 1-1.
I always said as a pitcher, if there's one superpower I could have, it would be reading the hitter's mind to know, is he ready to swing or is he in full-out take? Boy, that would alleviate so much stress. What to throw.
I'm pretty sure you had many superpowers.
Well, that would have been the favorite one.
The Rangers turn 2. Middle of the 4th in Arlington.
Do sale today at Dick's.
Kyle Bradish and the Orioles trailing the Rangers 2-1. Texas scoring both of their runs in the 2nd inning on 2 Orioles errors and a wild pitch. Brandon Nimmo leading off for the Rangers here in the bottom of the 4th. Struck out his first time up. Nimmo, Duran, and Carter for Texas. Rangers look to win their 4th straight game. Now 2-1 on Nimmo.
For Brandon Nimmo, you got to get him out of the way. He's looking to hit the ball hard, middle in.
Nimmo with a base hit into right field, so the leadoff man on for the Rangers here in the 4th. Well, the ultimate goal of an MLB fan, seeing it all. The MLB Journey to 30 sweepstakes presented by T-Mobile is the ultimate bucket list. Enter now for your chance to win trips to all 30 ballparks. Yes, all 30. MLB.com/Journey to 30 sweeps. First pitch to Duran, swing and a miss, 0-1. Infield single back in the 2nd inning. Moves to 3rd on the Bradish throwing error. And then would score the first Texas run.
Much better location. Tight breaking ball, getting swing and misses out of Duran. Was pretty good against off-speed pitching. The difference is the runner on first hit a bad pitch, meaning a pitch that was in the zone that shouldn't have been in that location. When you look at this, talking about where he likes the ball, middle in. See how this ball cuts back to the middle? Ball's supposed to be away, and perfect swing And a leadoff runner on for the Rangers.
Leadoff man on for the first time for the Rangers tonight. Here's Henderson with the flip to second. Over to first, double play.
I tell you what, I know robbing a home run might be the greatest thing that a pitcher gets to receive from his defense, but it's a close second. That double play, one pitch to get 2 outs. They say it's a pitcher's best friend. The last 2 at-bats have come double play for DeGrom and now a double play for Kyle.
Now the Orioles have now turned 3 double plays over the first 4 innings. Evan Carter drove in the go-ahead run. Radish behind in the count, 2-0.
I would say one of the biggest difference in today's style of pitching is every pitch that's thrown by pitchers is meant for a swing and miss for the most part. Power pitchers are trying to get swing and misses. To be able to land your off speed for strikes at any point would be such a luxury. But when you're worried about every hitter launching the ball over the fence or hitting a ball hard, you're constantly trying to get below the barrel and get swings and misses. And so that art of pitching has kind of been put on the back burner for stuff. And that's why more pitches per inning, less innings, and injuries. They all are equivalent to the effort and the spin and the max velocity that these guys are having to deal and pitch with, because that's what clubs are asking them to do.
Radish strikes out Carter to end the inning. We head to the 5th on Baseball Night in America. 2-1 Texas.
Fresh feel good.
Top of the 5th in Arlington, Texas. First pitch from DeGrom to Tavares. With the Rangers leading the Orioles 2-1. Jacob DeGrom, 7 strikeouts over the first 4 innings. Now 7 shy of 2,000 in his major league career. DeGrom now in his 13th season, 9 with the New York Mets, and his 4th with the Texas Rangers. Two-time National League Cy Young Award winner. So in your Cy Young season, John, back in 1996, you won 24 games. In DeGrom's 2 Cy Young seasons combined, 21 wins.
Yeah, that one year was pretty amazing. It did not have a lot of support and dominated baseball, but couldn't get the win. And again, you know, wins today, they want to kind of diminish them, say they're not that important, but they're more of a crapshoot, because if you're only going 5 1/3, 6 innings on average, you're relying on so many variables to get that individual win. And his name is going to be very discussed in about 12 years, and where he ends up and the numbers he ends up with for that Hall of Fame vote, and whether or not he's amassed enough, because when he was healthy, and nobody disputes it, he's one of the greatest pitchers we've ever seen. I'm a huge fan. I love watching him pitch, but he has missed a lot of time.
He has 103 career wins. He's 38 years old. Closing in, as we mentioned, on 2,000 strikeouts. Tavares flies out to Langford at left, 1 away. Delivering the win, sponsored by DQ. A look at some of the players who are on the move around Major League Baseball.
Yeah, the obvious one was Skubal, and then you get some surprises here. And Clay Holmes
base it into right field off the bat of Encarnacion Strand.
Clay Holmes' first start wasn't one of his finer ones, as he's come back from injury, getting traded from the Mets against the Royals, pitching 4 innings. But there's some moves for some teams that are in position to really improve their roster. And I thought, obviously, the prize ticket was Mr. Skubal, and the outside noise of everybody who's not a Dodger fan was like, no, not to the Dodgers. But they had the most to offer. And the beauty about the trade deadline, which I was a part of, so we get to see this challenge.
Baltimore will have 1 remaining.
Is, you know, the big thing is every team had a chance to get Skubal. It wasn't like it was just a channeled only no-brainer Dodgers. Every team had that chance. The Dodgers went all in.
Here's the 0-1 to Cowser, struck out his first time up. Of course, the Orioles sending catcher Adley Rutschman to the Red Sox. He's working his way back from an injury, and from all accounts, the Orioles received some terrific prospects from Boston.
Yeah, and the Orioles have made that decision at a time where their team was in it, and you got to imagine what that clubhouse had to feel like. What? But those are the tough decisions. The one thing I can tell you is the teams that try, which not every team tries, but the teams that do try and assess their team, are they good enough? You know, and some teams assess that value no matter where they are in the standings based on what they see in the roster. That's the toughest job of a GM, is to have your fan base go, wait a minute, we're 1 game out. But if you've watched that team and you see what that team's doing, you have to rate yourself against the teams you're chasing. So if you're not going to make major trades to improve, then you have to think a little bit more long term and next year.
2-1 from DeGrom, now 2-2. This Wednesday will be the 39th anniversary of the deal between the Detroit Tigers and the Atlanta Braves.
39 years ago.
A 20-year-old John Smoltz heading to Atlanta.
Lost out of my mind. 4-10 or 4-11. Homegrown kind of Tiger product, Tiger fan, and I got traded, and I thought life was over.
Far from it. Straight up for veteran, 36 years of age at the time, Doyle Alexander.
Yeah, I mean, that was the greatest thing that ever happened to me. At the time, I didn't know. And you're going to see some of those trades in baseball today. You know, who knows what the Tigers were able to get for Skubal and what that develops for them and their future. Obviously, a lot to be determined after the season's over and getting the labor agreement signed.
Cowser down on strikes. That is number 8 for Jacob DeGrom tonight.
This is an area I think that DeGrom can expose later in the game. Up, fastballs. Every hitter sees balls down, and then when they see that fastball up, boy, does it look juicy to them, but they have no chance to catch up with that pitch.
Here's Narvaez. He struck out back in the 3rd inning. Where were you when you found out about the deal?
I was at Glens Falls, New York. We didn't have any technology. We had a payphone. I received 2 notes, and they were handwritten notes that were handed to me in the dugout. One was call home immediately, and the other one was call the Detroit front office. Well, of course, I called home immediately, wondering if something was wrong. And my dad answered the phone, and he's kind of, you know, he was a prankster, and he said, "You just been traded to the Atlanta Braves." And my quote was, "It's not funny. I'm having a tough year, Dad. please. He goes, no, I just heard it on the news. I just heard it. And then I put 2 and 2 together and said, all right, I got to call you back. Called Detroit. And they said, yep, we've been traded. You to report to Richmond, Virginia, which is the AAA farm team for the Atlanta Braves. And I'm just speechless. I got no words. I just was in shock. And the first thing I thought about was I wasn't wanted. And what I quickly found out is that I was wanted by somebody else, and that the future was going to be a lot quicker there for me to get to the big leagues, because Detroit had just come off of a World Series not too long ago. And wow, is all I could say.
From Glens Falls, New York to Cooperstown, New York.
Yeah, that's crazy. I still remember seeing all the young talent and all the coaches that Atlanta had. Detroit did not have the coaching. They were bare minimum with coaching. We had one coach in Double-A. We didn't even have no pitching coach, no hitting coach, nothing. Just one coach, manager.
Strikeout number 9. That will end the inning. Saturday night is baseball night in America. Next week, 2 of the best of the National League square off as the Brewers take on Shohei and the Dodgers. Some of you will see the Diamondbacks and the Braves, or the Red Sox and the Pirates. Check local listings for the game in your area next Saturday, 7 Eastern on Fox. Kyle Bradish and the Orioles trailing 2-1. Jake Berger at the plate, bottom of the 5th inning. An infield single, his first time up. Bottom of the order for Texas. Berger, Wins, and Lopez. Got a little research between innings. You were in the dugout in Glens Falls, New York, when you found out you were traded. Cooperstown, 94 miles southwest of Glens Falls, about an hour-and-a-half drive, and a baseball lifetime in between those 2 moments. The trade back in 1987, and then your induction into the Baseball Hall of Fame back in 2015, and you were there a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
As another former teammate of yours, Andrew Jones, became one of the newest inductees in Cooperstown. Berger down on strikes. That's the 4th strikeout for Bradish. How was the weekend? I know you always try to get back.
Yeah, it was great. Obviously, I'd been pushing hard for Andrew's induction. Took a long time, but nothing made me more proud than to see the full circle moment of him get enshrined. It really kind of captures our run, and all the way from Freddie and Maddox and Glavine and myself and Chipper and Bobby, of course. There'll be another Brave that goes in, but it'll be a while. That's going to be Freddie Freeman. But the fact that, Andrew so impacted my career as a center fielder, a fly ball pitcher. He saved so many runs and gave me the opportunity to be who I was. So glad to see it. And of course, anytime you get a chance to go back and just be in a room with some of the greatest players in the world, I pinch myself every year. And like I said, I'm going to try to get to everyone I possibly can. Missed one because of a hip replacement, but made the rest.
Who are some of the fellow Hall of Famers that you really enjoy seeing every year and spending some time with?
Yeah, when you get in that room and you have that dinner, there's the egos of all the players that you would have when you have a regular team. You always have different personalities, and certainly that exists. You got the 500 or more home run table, the Punch and Judy hitters, the over 300 win table. All those kind of things exist. But when I see Sandy Koufax, which I'm in awe of, not only how great he looks, but just the presence of Sandy and that he has when he carries himself into a room. But guys like George Brett, who I just saw from afar, and the guys that you never get a chance to see hanging out playing golf or sitting at dinner, it's really cool to get their perspective. And you know, the guys I go in with, I'm seeing a lot, so I kind of tend to move around to Johnny Bench. You know, getting to see Reggie all the time, and it's just a really, really cool weekend of no stress.
So is that how it works? All the 500 home run guys sit at one
Pretty
table
much.
at dinner, the 300 win guys at another?
Yeah, pretty much. You get the bantering back and forth when an Ozzie Smith or somebody's sitting at a table. Hey, what are you doing at that table? You know, but that's the part, the fun part, when it's all said and done. The inductees are there, and then we have our dinner at night. And you know, I try to sit at a different table with guys differently that I had sat with the year before or the time before.
Great stuff. 1-2 to Wins, and he fouls it off back behind third. So 200 wins, and then when you add up all of the saves, do you have your own table?
It's a good question. I like to sit next to Dennis Eckersley. We get thrown around with the two guys that, you know, were able to do it. But this year I sat with, you know, Trevor Hoffman, and the year before with Mariano Rivera. I mean, you're talking about two of the greatest. Raleigh Fingers. There's so many great, Lee Smith, so many Goose Gossage guys that did it their whole life. And, you know, I did it for 3 years and change. And my road was a unique one. I didn't plan it that way, but it organically happened. And to think that in my first year I was able to get 55 saves doesn't make any sense.
There's Alonso in foul territory, just out of his reach. Peyton Gray up in the Rangers' pen. Your former teammates, Skip Schumacher.
Yes, St. Louis.
Base hit into left center. Off the bat of Wins. 10-pitch at bat. And wins the battle.
Yeah, he sure did. I mean, 10 pitches, getting a chance to see everything going right up the middle. Well, let's see if the Orioles kind of fit that fourth double play ball into this inning. Be tough to do against Lopez.
Lopez did ground into a double play after the second inning. One of three turned by the Orioles so far tonight. Encarnacion and Strand in on the grass at third.
You don't see many hit and runs in baseball. With a guy like Lopez, he could be utilized for a hit and run at some point in this at bat.
Wins the runner on first, one out. Bottom of the fifth inning with the Rangers leading by one. They won last night's game by this 2-1 score. Here's Henderson.
Well, I think Henderson
back at first wins.
Just a moment thought about dropping it, but line drive right at him. Thought maybe throw the guy out at first, but heads up base running.
So a two-away, here's Peterson. He's 0 for 2 tonight. Struck out and fly to left.
20 home runs off of right-handed pitching. Bounce back year after last year really struggling to get out of the gates.
He's hit 18 home runs since late May, third in the American League during that stretch. Hit a 2-run shot last night in the 6th inning. Accounting for both Rangers runs in their 2-1 victory. The 0-2 from Bradish. Now 1 ball, 2 strikes. One run on 3 hits for the Orioles. They have committed 2 errors. Rangers 2 runs, 5 base hits. 1-2 to Peterson. Fouls it off back behind third. A shot fielded by Holiday. The throw to Alonso. So Jock Peterson robbed of a base hit by the 22-year-old Jackson Holiday.
In the DQ app.
Above and Beyond, sponsored by Jersey Mike's. Well, Jacob deGrom threw 88 pitches over 5 innings, struck out 9, and his night has come to an end.
Yeah, I talked about he throws a lot of pitches, gets a lot of strikeouts, and doesn't stay in the game long enough for the Rangers. And 88 pitches was enough for tonight, and they're going to have to rely on their bullpen in a 2-1 game. And you know, I always thought the 6th inning was a teeter-totter inning for managers and how they sway the choices you make out of the pen and the chances you have of probability winning a game. It's more of a toss-up when your best pitcher only goes 5 innings.
So the 31-year-old right-hander Peyton Gray on a relief of deGrom. Facing the top of the order for the Orioles, Gunnar Henderson 0 for 2 tonight. And Henderson takes ball 2.
Well, what it does for the other team too is when a guy like that enters in the game for and the other guy leaves, your energy goes way up as an offense. You're like, thank God he left, because whatever comes out is not going to be nastier.
Henderson flies out to Langford and left, 1 away.
Well, for Gray, he's going to have that fastball slider change, basically a 3-pitch pitcher. And he's going to have to be pretty good. And these hitters are seeing a different style pitcher, and especially this guy right here. Watch out on the first pitch.
Alonso 0 for 2. Struck out in the first.
Challenging.
And then grounded to second in the third.
Texas has 1 challenge remaining.
So both teams 1 challenge remaining. Here's the 1-1 from Gray to Alonso. Swing and a miss, 1-2.
But just to give you contrast of the styles, 99 for fastball for DeGrom, 93 fastball for Gray. And that one was right down the middle. Alonso maybe looking for something else.
Alonso pops this one into shallow left center. And the catch made by the center fielder Carter for out number 2. Take you back to the first inning. Jackson Holliday off Jacob DeGrom. 6th of the season. He had been 0 for 5 against DeGrom and 0 for his last 18 overall coming into this game tonight. That's a fair ball. Fielded by Nimmo in right. Holliday in at second.
Yeah, that's just inside the bag.
Ball 1 to Tyler O'Neill. So Holliday has 2 of the 4 Orioles hits tonight.
There haven't been many chances for either team with runners in scoring position. The 3rd time, 3rd at bat tonight with a runner in scoring position.
It's Jackson Holliday, the runner at second. His dad, Matt, also a teammate of yours in St. Louis in 2009, along with Skip Schumacher.
Yeah, I'm officially old because I watched this little guy standing on second base at about the age of 5, I think, going in the cage after the game with his dad. And of course, he had a little brother. They were always hitting. They were always around the game. And now look, he's in the big leagues.
O'Neill draws a walk for the 2nd time tonight, and the Orioles threatening with runners on 1st and 2nd. Score big on authentic gear at MLBshop.com. From official jerseys and memorabilia to hats and hoodies, we've got the season covered. Scan the QR code or visit MLBshop.com, the official source for your favorite team gear. Dylan Beavers 0 for 2, grounded out into a double play his last time up. Big opportunity here with 2 outs and 2 on for the Orioles in the 6th.
That was only the 2nd double play all year that he grounded into out of 49 opportunities.
Facing Gray on in relief of DeGrom. And that's a foul ball, so the runners will return. Gray retired the first 2 Orioles in the inning. Henderson and Alonso. Holliday with a double just inside the line at first and down the right field line, and then the walk to O'Neill. Gray delivers the 0-1 to Beavers. 1 ball, 1 strike. Fouled off back behind third, now 1-2.
The interesting challenge here is Beavers has been pretty good against off-speed pitches. He grounded on that foul ball with an off-speed changeup and then missed on a fastball. And see what he goes to here with 2 strikes.
On the ground to the right side. Gray covering, takes the toss, and the Orioles strand 2 in the 6th.
Live.
The MLB.TV trade deadline sale is here. Now available at the low price, $34.99 through August 9th. That's tomorrow. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.TV for details. Wyatt Langford leading off for the Rangers here in the bottom of the 6th inning against Kyle Bradish. Langford hit by a pitch his first time up and then fly to right. Rangers lead the Orioles 2-1. When we were speaking with Shane Baz, last night's Orioles starter who went the distance, took the loss, allowing only 3 hits. We referenced that back in 1989, you pitched a complete game 3-hitter, lost the game, and our statistician Ben Boma has been wondering all day and all night if you remember who hit the 2-run homer off you in that game.
Well, it would help to know which team, because I had a few complete game losses.
You struck out 10 against San Francisco.
In 1989? Was I facing Rick Russell?
You were.
Okay, getting warmer, because that was after the All-Star break, and Rick Russell was the starter, and I came in after him in the All-Star game that year. So now trying to figure out who hit the homer. I know I lost, obviously. I remember that.
You struck out 10.
Yeah. I also hit Rick Russell.
Encarnacion Strand, nice play.
Okay.
Throws out Langford.
So, man. I mean, I want to say Will Clark, but
I'll give you credit for remembering that it was Rick Russell on the mound.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Let's see. Man, oh man, just going back in time. I want to say Will Clark, but I don't think it was Will Clark, but that's where I'm going to go right now.
It was not Will Clark.
Okay. All right.
You retired Clark all 4 times in that game.
Gosh, who would it have been? That was a long time ago. I appreciate my man believing in me to give. Okay, all right.
He's been waiting all day for this.
Well, the hardest part for me
Baltimore
is
Scouting.
trying to remember who was on that team. I would know who it would be
Baltimore has 0 challenges remaining.
if we went and gave the lineup. But okay.
He came over to San Francisco from the New York Mets.
I'm going to say Mitchell.
Kevin Mitchell.
Yeah, Kevin Mitchell would have been my next guess. I have a funny story about San Francisco where I believe it was Don Robinson, one of the old-time veteran pitchers, in a golf tournament, because I was struggling against San Francisco, especially early on over there. I felt like they had my pitches. Like I felt like I was tipping. That's the go-to when you struggle against a club. And
Encarnacion Strand charging. Makes another terrific play to retire Seager.
well, he had a few pops in him in the golf tournament, and he came over to me and he said, kid, we got your pitches. And I'm like, oh my gosh, thank you. He goes, no, we're not getting them from you. We're getting them from the catcher. And I went, oh, even better. And the signs were being given way too low. And the only person that did not want it on that team was Will Clark. But man, oh man, they were hitting balls, just tattooing balls left and right. And it was good to know that that was happening.
Why did he tell you?
He had a few pops in him. He was pitchers, you know, older veteran pitcher, kind of taking care of, like, he didn't tell us, you know, it's one thing. I remember doing it to a colleague of ours, and he's told the story, Dontrell. I just remember seeing a young Dontrell Willis and walking by him one day and said, check the film. I didn't tell him what we were getting, and I didn't kind of, you know, I just said, check the film. And he knew what that meant. And we weren't going to face him anymore that year. But it kind of a pitcher's code, if you can, when it doesn't cost your team anything. In 1991, we had John Smiley's every pitch he had thrown out of the stretch. So in Game 7, I'm pacing John Smiley. The goal was just get on base, boys. Just get on base, and we did. And now every pitcher in the whole universe has given up pitches and has tipped. It's up to your teammates, your pitching coach, and your team to make sure that you watch for that. And whatever it is, you got to make sure you don't do it.
And tonight, Dontrell in our studio along with Chris Myers.
That's right.
It comes full circle. Here's the 1-2, and Nimmo stays alive.
Oral Hershiser, when I was a young pitcher, really helped me. Didn't have to. Really spoke some wisdom, you know, as a competitor on an elite organization. And you see that throughout the league. You know, you see young players, if they're willing to ask questions, are always seeking advice of the people before them.
Well, we gave Shane Boz that opportunity to ask you a couple of questions earlier today. And, of course, the first one was about getting him onto a golf course.
That's a smart one, too.
And then it was baseball. Two from Bradish. And Nimmo fights it off.
People would be amazed on what it takes to be a big leaguer throughout the year. You have so many things you have to learn, like your eating habits, your discipline of when you work out, sleeping habits. They've got everything today. I mean, they got chefs and sleep studies and all the different nuances that technology has to aid them in being great.
No private chefs back in your day?
No, and not a lot of nutrients that were necessarily good for you. Sundays were the worst. Krispy Kreme Sunday.
Ninth pitch of the at-bat. And Nimmo flies out to Cowser in center. We head to the seventh. Go all in on game nights with MLB Plus. Stream MLB Network 24/7 in the U.S. and select out-of-market games every week. Plus live radio broadcasts of every game, game day 3D, big inning, and minor league action as well. Visit MLB.com/MLB Plus to subscribe today. Tavares 0 for 2 leading off against Peyton Gray here in the top of the seventh inning. Here's Carter, the center fielder, one away. Jacob deGrom, Rangers starter, went 5 through 88 pitches. Struck out 9 Orioles. Gray allowed a double to Holiday in the 6th inning, walked O'Neill, and then worked his way out of it. Now facing Encarnacion Strand, has made a couple of nice defensive plays.
We talked about how much time's left in a season, but when you have these kind of games, it kind of mirrors the kind of season the Orioles are having. If they were to lose this game in similar fashion, 2-1 with the strikeouts and the lack of defense, right? You got a great pitch game, the last 2 dimes by your starting pitching, which has been kind of an Achilles heel for this team. You had a core of position players that were supposed to be the nucleus for this long run. One of them has already been traded. A couple have been hurt. Henderson having a down year. These are the kind of games you have to find a way to win. And last night getting thrown out in the 9th did not help. And kind of mirror image of what's going on for the Orioles.
Under first-year manager Craig Alvarez. Orioles 4 games under the 500 mark. We had a great chat with Alvarez earlier in the manager's office as Encarnacion Strand awaits the 2-2 from Gray. We asked Alvarez about some of his mentors through the years, and the first name he mentioned was longtime coach, minor league manager Bill Evers. He gushed about what he learned from him. Also referenced Joe Madden, Gabe Kapler, Stephen Vogt. As Encarnacion Strand strikes out, now 2 away. Our sleeper pick sponsored by Mattress Firm. Look at the standings. Rangers a game and a half out of the West. They're in the 3rd wild card spot. How about the Red Sox? They lost today, but 32-6 over their last 38 games, and the Orioles only 2 out of the wild card race. Here's Cowser into the left field corner. And it's second with a 2-out double. Getting back to Craig Alvarez, he said he learned so much from the great Don Zimmer. Spent a lot of time around Zimmer during some of his big league camps in the Tampa Bay organization, and loved to pick his brain. That will be all for Peyton Gray, with the Rangers leading the Orioles 2-1, 2 outs, top of the 7th. Rangers leading the Orioles 2-1. Chase Silseth, acquired just over a week ago from the Angels. 3rd Texas pitcher tonight. Strike 1 to Narvaez, who came over from the Red Sox in the Rutschman deal last week. Cowser with a double into the left field corner.
Well, Silseth has this fastball. You've seen it first 2 pitches. About 96 miles an hour, 4-seamer. He throws a curveball and split. He'll mix in a sinker, but the best pitch of his arsenal is that fastball when it comes to batting average against.
Narvaez behind, 0-2. Silseth delivers. Ball 1. Now the 1-2 from Silseth. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Cowser takes his lead off second with 2 away. Now the 2-2 to Narvaez. Gets the bat on it. And it's Carter who makes the catch in center. Cowser stranded on second. 7th inning stretch time at Arlington. Tomorrow on Fox, the stars of IndyCar are going full throttle as they look to chase down Alex Palou in Portland. Tomorrow, 4 Eastern, only on Fox. Rico Garcia on a relief of Kyle Bradish with the Orioles trailing 2-1. Bottom of the 7th inning. Good hands play, sponsored by Allstate. Despite some miscues in the 2nd inning, John, the Orioles have turned 3 double plays in the game.
Yeah, they stayed in the game with the double plays, but their defense got them the 2 runs, that which they trailed 2-1. So bittersweet for Bradish. He started it with a wild throw to first on a pickoff attempt, and then it was ugly in that inning after the fact.
Look at both clubs' records in 1-run games. Rangers the best in baseball. Rangers also the best when leading after 6 innings, a record of 50-1.
That's impressive. 50-1 after the 6 is getting it done, to say the least. Garcia is going to rely on a fastball, a curveball, and a slider. He mixes in that changeup. So basically, he's an off-speed pitcher with a fastball as a show pitch at about 33% of the time. He's going to try to get you out with off-speed.
Duran leads off. He grounded into the most recent double play turned by the Orioles back in the 4th inning. Both Texas runs scored in the 2nd inning off Bradish unearned, due to the 2 Baltimore errors and the wild pitch. The 0-1 from Garcia to Duran, now 0-2. Bradish went 6 innings without allowing an earned run. Duran called out on strikes, 1 away.
High breaking ball, and that usually gets the hitter. Thinks that it's going to be a ball, stays at the top of the zone. And I thought the interesting thing when we talked to Skip Schumacher about the philosophy of challenging and the challenge system that exists, he said when we're ahead, we want to save our challenges for run prevention. When we're behind, we want our challenges to be offensively because we need to score some runs and change the account. That's a great way to look at it and balance the 2.
It's certainly a fine line, a split-second decision that has to be made by the batter, the pitcher, the catcher. A lot that goes into it.
Yep.
Carter drove in the run in the 2nd and then struck out in the 4th. Also scored the go-ahead run. The 1-2 from Garcia. Low and inside, 2-2.
Well, you mentioned the 1-run success that the Rangers have had. I'm sure their manager would love to see Corey Seager, Langford, Carter all start doing a little bit more to get some separation and score some more runs.
2 up, 2 down, 2 strikeouts for Garcia out of the Baltimore pen.
Because this roster and this offense, you see the changeup for the swing and a miss. I mean, they could possibly win 2 games by scoring just 4 runs. But boy, oh boy, that gets tough on the stomach, gets tough on the managing. And you're always playing a lot of 1-run games.
2 away, here's Berger. A slow roller. Garcia off the mound, throw to first. Garcia retires the Rangers in order in the 7th.
Tide.
Welcome back to Baseball Night in America on Fox. Here in Arlington, Texas. With the roof closed, now 89 degrees. It was 97 when we got underway. On the first pitch of the inning, Henderson fouls out to the third baseman, Duran, one away.
Oh, that is huge if you're Seth trying to get this dangerous hitter in what's going to be the best chance to score for the Orioles, you would think. Top of the lineup, one pitch, one out. Another dangerous hitter who loves the first pitch. Home run hitting Pete Alonso.
Quiet night for Alonso, 0 for 3. Once again, has played in every game this season, as he did for the Mets each of the last 2 years. Alonso now 0 for his last 8. The 1-1 from Silseth, now 1-2.
Each hitter has a mechanism that works for them. Some it's with their hands. Watch when Alonso has the bat tap. It's basically the pine tar you could see hitting his back shoulder, right shoulder. When he gets a little tap, he's going to have a few of them. You get 1, 2, 3, and ready.
Here's the 2-2, and Alonso drills this one to deep left center. It's off the wall. The throw to second. Alonso is in with a 1-out double.
Well, he hit it to the farthest part of the plate. This ball was supposed to be in. See, he's a good down, low ball hitter.
The last 3 Orioles base hits, and 4 of their 6 in the game have gone for extra bases, as Alonso is removed for a pinch runner, Christian Franklin. But they've scored only 1 run.
Yeah. No, they've definitely did not do the little things to be ahead, that's for sure. They have an opportunity to get ahead and tie the game here in this inning. The guy who put him on the board is at the plate right now.
So Franklin will take his leadoff second with Holiday at the plate.
I was wondering why they would pitch to him in this situation. They decided not to.
So Holiday heads to first.
You typically don't want to put the go-ahead run on a base, but in the 8th inning, with a guy that you definitely can double up, but also has a lot of power in O'Neill, you're going to take your chances right on right.
O'Neill has reached base 3 times tonight, 2 walks and a base hit. Takes strike 1.
O'Neill just voiced his displeasure, didn't want to challenge it. Thought that ball was off the plate. There was a reason he didn't challenge it, because they don't have any. That's what happens late in the game.
Now the 1-1 to O'Neill. 2 balls, 1 strike. Two on, 1 out, with the Orioles trailing by a run. 2-2.
Got a unique delivery with that four-seam fastball. Kind of holds its plane and kind of jumps out at the hitter with some late life.
Pete Alonso with a one-out double. Intentional walk to Holiday. First and second, one out. The 2-2 from Silseth up the middle. And the Texas Rangers turn two. Middle of the eighth at Arlington with the Rangers leading by a run. Texas barbecue.
Man, that looks good.
Bottom of the eighth with the Rangers leading 2-1. Grant Wolfram out of the Orioles pen. His 43rd appearance. Kobe Mayo enters the game at first base, and Franklin remains in center field. Wins leads off for the Rangers, leading by a run. And he takes a called strike from Wolfram, 0-1. Rangers with a 2-1 victory last night. And they lead by the same score here tonight in the second of this three-game series. Last night it was a great defensive play in the top of the ninth inning. Gunning down a runner at the plate. Here tonight, some miscues in the field by the Orioles leading to both Texas runs, but we've also seen a combined 5 double plays.
Yeah, you don't see that many in a game filled with strikeouts and fly balls, but you know these games, man, you look back on your season and these are the ones you got to find a way to win if you're the Orioles. Get great pitching performances and the offense just not the timely hit.
Wins down on strikes, one away.
And on the flip side, the Rangers, who had just recently lost 6 in a row, got some much needed wins in their last couple games because they were also in the same boat of close but no cigars in the quest to get in the postseason.
Here's Nicky Lopez. He's 0 for 2.
Currently have the Padres beating the Astros 3-1 in 8, so that's a game that the Rangers can gain if everything holds true. And on the other side, the stingy Tigers, they were winning. Did they end up winning? Tigers, yeah, they're going to win 7-0. So they've been on a roll. They traded their best pitcher, and they're only a couple games out of the playoffs.
Mentioned the Astros losing coming into this game. Their lead over the Rangers just a game and a half in the American League West.
Have the Dodgers lost 7 in a row?
They have. Wow. Called strike 3. 2 up, 2 down, 2 strikeouts for Wolfram.
Young man's got some great action on his pitches. Over the top, fastball away. Gets the call.
So with 2 outs, pinch hitter Justin Foscue hitting for Peterson.
This has been the streakiest baseball season I have ever witnessed in my life. The amount of stretches that teams have gone on, good and bad, has got to be greater than it's ever been. I mean, 10+ game winning streaks multiple times by teams. Now you've got the Dodgers, who've lost 7 in a row, lead team in the league. The Red Sox had won 9 in a row.
They won 32 of their last 38.
I mean, just you're 10 days away. Any club. Now, the question is, can the Orioles or the Rangers go on one of those stretches here that would give them some separation? That's what it takes.
Rangers look to win their 4th straight. The 1-2 to Foscue. Now 2 balls, 2 strikes.
The Blue Jays, defending American League champs, still have a heartbeat. They made some interesting moves and trades with some starting pitchers. Their offense, of course, not even close to what last year was. Part of that is the departure of Bichette to the Mets, but when they say the American League's been kind of wide open, it's wide open. And the Yankees, if they get healthy, I still maintain are the team to beat with their pitching.
Payoff pitch. Ball 4 to Foscue. After he fell behind 0-2. So a 2-out base runner for Texas. Wyatt Langford 0 for 2. He was hit by a pitch his first time up. Fouls off the first pitch from Wolfram. 0-1.
What do you think in New York? Are they calling Lombard the next Jeter?
There's been a lot of excitement this week following the call-up of George Lombard Jr.
Another guy I played with whose son is in the big leagues. It's one of the craziest trends over the last 10-12 years, generational baseball.
His dad now a coach with the Detroit Tigers.
Yeah. George Jr. went deep again today.
And yes, there have been references to what Derek Jeter did at the beginning of his career.
Texas is challenging left pitch. They have 1 challenge remaining.
Texas looking to extend their lead. 2 outs, bottom of the 8th inning, runner on first. Swing and a miss by Langford. Orioles open the scoring in the top of the 1st inning when Jackson Holliday took Jacob deGrom deep. deGrom would go on to strike out 9 in 5 innings through 88 pitches. Texas scored 2 unearned runs in the bottom of the 2nd. Remember, Wolfram was ahead 0-2 to Foscue, who drew a walk. And now Langford at the plate with a full count. Second consecutive walk issued by Wolfram. We'll look at Jacob Watts with 22 saves on the season up in the Texas pen. Alejandro Osuna comes out to run for Justin Foscue. Corey Seager 0 for 3 tonight. Runners on first and second, 2 outs. Wolfram was 1 strike away from striking out the side. Now he has issued 2 consecutive walks and has fallen behind 2-0 to Seager.
The release point of his off speed's been off.
Seager, deep right field, it is gone. A 3-run shot off the bat of Corey Seager. The Rangers now lead 5-1.
Been struggling on fastballs, did not struggle on this one. 2-0 Cookie right down the middle. And something this fan base has gotten used to seeing a lot. Power from Seager.
Wolfram had struck out 2 Rangers. Wings and Lopez, the number 8 and 9 hitters. Foscue, the pinch hitter, was behind 0-2. He drew a walk, so did Langford, and then Seager with a 3-run homer. First run scored on either side since the second inning. A Seager home run, the first extra base hit for Texas tonight. Nimmo down on strikes. That will end the inning. But Corey Seager, the 2-time World Series most valuable player, extends the Texas lead to 5-1 as we head to the 9th. And a happy fan here in Arlington. Team leader sponsored by Clorox, with the Rangers leading the Orioles 5-1. Rangers pitchers have allowed only 2 earned runs in the series, as Cal Quantrill will look to close things out. He's back in the pen. 7 of his last 8 appearances have been starts. Beavers lead it off for the Orioles. He is 0 for 3 tonight.
Well, the Rangers, if they can get healthy in that pitching rotation, I still believe they have the pitching.
Line drive caught. The first baseman Berger, one away.
Again, I'm old, and I played against his dad in high school.
Wasn't that long ago.
38 at least. More than that, 40.
Tavares 0 for 3. At least it wasn't his grandfather. 5-1 lead for the Rangers. Corey Seager with a 3-run homer. Bottom of the 8th inning. His 11th of the season. 1-1 to Tavares, now 1-2. Great job by our entire crew tonight, led by producer Brian Colucci, our director Ben Dillenberger, associate director Jake Fuller, broadcast associate Charlie Taft, Ben Bowman, Mark Seguro crunching the numbers. Bounce to the second baseman Lopez, and the Rangers are now 1 out away from their 4th consecutive victory. Another former teammate of yours, Skip Schumacher.
Yes, he was at the end of my career in St. Louis. Come over from Miami.
Strike 1 to Encarnacion Strand. One for 3, singled in the 5th, has struck out twice. One from Quantrill. Nimmo makes the catch on the run. And the Rangers win their 4th straight. 2-1 last night. 5-1 over the Orioles here tonight.
Well, DeGrom, 5 innings of domination, and the Rangers, big 3-run homer late to seal this big win for them.
2 unearned runs in the 2nd for Texas, and then Seager with a 3-run shot in the 8th. Thanks for watching Baseball Night in America from Arlington, Texas. Jacob DeGrom picks up his 8th win of the season. For John Smoltz and our entire crew, I'm Kenny Albert. 5-1 Rangers. We'll send you to Chris Byers and Dontrell Willis in our LA studios.